Hi everyone, my name's Rudy. I live in Japan. I teach English as an assistant language teacher at Kobe Commercial High School, and this is my JET program experience. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I've been up to for the last 8 months here in Japan, including my work-life balance, like what I've been doing at work and outside of work, the good, the bad, and a bunch of little road bumps that I've hit along the way, friendships and long-distance relationships. Yeah, I don't know, just everything. So also I tried to write everything down on this piece of paper right here, but 8 months is kind of a long time, so inevitably I know there's gonna be like details that I skip over or I forget to talk about. If I say something and you're like, oh, I want to hear more about that, or if I skip over something, pretty much just leave a comment down below and I will try to make a video in the future that goes into more detail. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so where do I even start in this video? Let's just start at the beginning. So I arrived in Japan at the very end of July, beginning of August. And I moved into my apartment and I had no furniture in here. Like I was sleeping on the ground for, I think, around 2 weeks before one of my good friends, Ryoko, who I was introduced to by my predecessor, who is a Japanese woman who speaks English, helped me get my bed set up, which I bought here. She helped me get my furniture set up and buy a new TV, get my cable and internet set up, get a new SIM card for my phone so I could use my phone. All of that stuff she helped me with. Usually that is someone from your school who would do that for you, or you would just do it yourself, but I'm a princess, so I need someone to do it for me. No, but yeah, she was like ready and willing to help, and we became really good friends through that. So that's what I did for the first month as far as getting my house set up. Once I did that, I felt a lot more relaxed, and I was going to school every day from 8:30 to 4:30 and planning my self-introduction lesson. I had also just met all my Japanese teachers that I would be working with, and they let me know that I would be teaching 17 classes a week. And I would be doing the majority of the lesson planning and executing in class by myself. Yeah, so you can imagine I was pretty like shook when I heard that. I didn't really know what to do or how to do it, so I just didn't really prepare during the month of August, like before school started, which looking back at, I'm just like, what were you thinking? And I also didn't tell the teachers at that time that I wasn't comfortable doing that. So in orientation, they told us, like, you're the assistant, and the Japanese teacher is leading the class. And now that I'm at school, they're saying you're gonna be leading the class. So I was just like confused, and I didn't really know how to stand my ground either and say, you know, that's not cool, like, can you help me? So yeah, whatever. I just kind of like put that on the back burner during August and tried to enjoy myself. So outside of school, I was going to like welcome parties that other ALTs in the area were having, and making friends, and going to Osaka, and going shopping in Kobe, and going to the beach that was 20 minutes away from my apartment, and going to pet deer in Nara, which was only about a 2-hour train ride, and just having a grand old time outside of work, and just during that honeymoon phase of, I'm here, yay! So then September rolled around and school started. This was probably one of the most stressful months of my entire life. I was just a mess. I was trying to plan and teach all 17 of those lessons at school and get acclimated to everything. I was also running the ESS club after school 3 days a week until like 5:30 p.m. I was going to the calligraphy club, and all the while outside of work, I was still trying to make friends and see, you know, who was like me and who I could get along with. And, you know, it was just a really, really crazy time. And there was a lot of good stress and a lot of bad stress, and I was also starting to feel like a little bit homesick too. And right as that was happening, my boyfriend Alex decided that he was gonna come visit me in October. So I had that to look forward to, which was really cool. So he didn't come until the middle of October. The beginning of October was just more craziness at school. Like, I was just honestly, I was drowning in the amount of work that I had, and compared to my friends who had 10 lessons a week or less, or they had 2 ALTs at their school, so they were splitting the work, I just felt like I was kind of alone, and it just felt really unfair to me that I had all this work. I was like, I know every situation is different, but I don't know, I was just really not coping with that stress in a healthy way, I don't think. We were getting ready for midterm exams, which I had to, of course, prepare. It was just crazy, more craziness at school. But finally, my boyfriend came, and I was just so happy that he was here and that I could finally show someone new around Japan. We did a lot of stuff, we went to Osaka, Himeji. I showed him around Kobe, obviously. We went to Kyoto. Did I already say that? And I got to introduce him to my friends and just, I don't know, re-explore Japan again. So that was really fun. The middle of October is a pretty good time if you want to start using your vacation days because, like I said, there are midterms, so you don't have any classes to teach. So yeah, that's the first tip. While he was here, I realized how nice it was having someone to talk to when I got home from work, in English and face-to-face, which was something I really missed when he left. So he left around the beginning of November, which was when we were getting back into school from midterms. So after Alex left, I was realizing how lonely I was after school, not having anyone to talk to, and even at school. So of course there's other people who speak English there, but it's hard enough to find time to talk to them about lessons and lesson planning. So I didn't really feel comfortable going to them with my everyday problems. And then when I got home from work, it was getting colder and darker by 4:30 p.m. since Japan doesn't do daylight savings. So I wasn't really hanging out with my friends as much, and the time difference was really hard to try to talk to people at home. And I was just getting really, really lonely. And I felt so isolated, at my apartment. I don't know. That was just a really low point in November for me. So my boyfriend suggested, you should come home for Christmas. And I was like, you know what? I didn't really want to. I was like, if I'm only going to be here a year, which I hadn't decided yet, but if I would only be here for a year, I don't want to go home for Christmas. I want to explore Japan more, but the reality was I really needed to go home. I really needed to see my family and spend time there and think about what I really wanted to do for the next year of my life. Do I want to be away from home for another year? Do I want to be enjoying this amazing country for another year? What the hell do I want to do? First, before I went home for Christmas, I had to get through the rest of November and December. And me just being the person that I am, who is just terrible at asking for help and talking to people, I didn't really tell anyone that I was feeling really sad or lonely or homesick or culture shock or whatever. So I was kind of just dealing with it alone, which was so shitty. Looking back on it, I should have tried to reach out to somebody, and I kind of would here and there, but I don't know. It's so hard to explain when you're actually going through it. It feels like no one can relate to you, so why would you talk to them about it? But yeah, that was November. There were also a lot of speech contests going on at that time, English speech contests. So I was helping to coach students after school and then going to the speech contests on the weekend with them. So school was crazy, but they were done with school around the end of November. So I pretty much had the whole month of December with no classes and getting to plan ahead for the new school or the new term coming up in January. So that's what I was doing at school. And I think I was just mostly Christmas shopping in December and watching a lot of TV and catching up on like all the anime that I missed over the last few months from being busy. I had a Secret Santa exchange with my friends, so that was really fun. I got a really cool gift. Shout out Alva, thanks. I was doing a bit of solo traveling to like Kyoto and stuff because I just didn't really know what to do with myself, honestly, and I was just like waiting for the year to be over. So then I went home for Christmas. It was much needed, and while I was there, I decided I would not be recontracting for a second year in Japan. I know, it's pretty sad. I didn't really expect that coming into it, but after I weighed the pros and cons, I realized that it just wouldn't be right for me to stay another year. I feel like I could make a whole other video about that, so I'll just stop there. So when I came back, I was feeling a lot better, like not so lonely and stuff, and I decided that I wanted 2018 to just be me enjoying Japan and having fun and not being stressed. Now that that decision was out of the way, I could just be here and like be really present and just enjoy living here and do all the things that I want to do. Pretty much whenever I wasn't at work, I was not just coming home and going to my apartment like I used to do. I was actually trying to go out and like do things and just be here, you know, if that makes sense. The third year students were also getting ready to graduate. The graduation ceremony was at the end of February, so they finished their classes at the end of January. So we were having a lot of fun in class. They're only like 4 years younger than me, which I feel like I always forgot about. We just would laugh a lot together in class and write thank you notes to their teachers that they'd be leaving, and I don't know, those last few weeks with them were really like precious moments, and one of the great parts about teaching high school, honestly. Yeah, and after they finished their classes, my class load went from 17 a week to having only 8 classes a week. So that freed up a ton of my time at school, and I could just start making better quality lessons for the classes that I still had. I think that's kind of what stressed me out a lot before with having so many classes, was like I hated that I had to half-ass the lessons and not go in there and have fun with the students and be able to do something fun, because I was always like stressed about planning. I don't know, it was just this really weird and stressful thing before that now I just wasn't stressed about. So February was just off to another great start for me. So I had all this free time at work, and I started working on my personal like resume. I started making a website for myself, which isn't finished yet. Oh yeah, oh my god, how could I forget? I decided to get a tattoo, my first ever tattoo, which I'm gonna make another video on as well. I also cut my hair, so the month was just full of changes. However, I will say that when I got back, the homesickness and culture shock stuff that I was talking about earlier, it didn't just go away like that. It kind of still came in waves, and I was still kind of feeling like really sad at times again, or really happy, like going through this kind of weird, I don't want to say bipolar, but that's the only way I can think of it. So it would kind of just come and go, and finally I feel like it's gone now. But anyway, yeah, the month of February was really just me turning a new leaf. Another thing I was doing was planning for my mom to come visit. So my mom came and visited me in March, and of course the month before at school I was using a lot of my time to plan for that and just figure out where we were gonna go and stuff. The graduation ceremony was then at the end of February, and I got to see off a lot of my students, which was kind of sad. And yeah, then I really had a lot of free time at work because there were no classes, like not even second year or first year students. So then I decided I would start studying for the Japanese language proficiency test, or the JLPT. And you might be thinking, Rudy, why didn't you study Japanese before March? Like, wow, you waited a really long time. And yeah, that's just because I was honestly I was just too overwhelmed with adjusting to living here, planning lessons and having a social life, and, you know, trying to maintain my relationship with my boyfriend at home, which was really hard to do, honestly. That was it's a lot of work to be in a long distance relationship. So all of those things that I was dealing with, I was just not about to add one more thing like studying Japanese. When I already had a pretty good foundation of Japanese, I was like, I don't need to study, like I don't care, I can't get any better anyway, I give up kind of thing. So in March I decided like, yes, I'm gonna start studying for the JLPT. Went and bought all these books, started studying every day at work for literally all day. And then my mom came to visit me. So use your vacation time during March. The cherry blossoms are blooming, the weather is getting nicer. You can just explore Japan more and show people around, which is always, I find, just an amazing way to spend your time here. I mean, after all, the JET program is about international exchange, so I definitely suggest having at least one person come visit you while you're here, even though it takes a lot of time to plan it out and it can be kind of stressful in its own way. Yeah, that was just an amazing, amazing time. And she cooked me like homemade food, which was just, so good. Okay, so I think we're finally getting to the end of this really long adventure. It is finally April, and the students are about to start classes again. We got a whole load of new freshmen coming in. It's about to get really busy for me again, so that's why I wanted to make this video now. So yeah, that's what I've been doing the last 8 months here. I can't believe it's already been 8 months and that I only have until the end of July really to finish up school. This has really been, if not the best experience of my life, like one of the best experiences of my life. And it really is just a marathon of learning. Like every day you're dealing with something new, and every day you're faced with different emotions that you never really knew that you had. You're confronted with yourself, and you're confronted with a new culture and new things that you never thought you would have to do. And that's why I love the JET program so much, is because it really makes you grow up and learn how to be dependent on yourself and self-sufficient, and something that you really thought you could never be or would never have to be. So if you are someone who is interested in doing the JET program, or you've been accepted to it and you're gonna do it, I hope this video helped you in some way as for what to expect. And for anyone else, I hope you enjoyed listening to this little part of my life. I think I'm gonna finish here. I feel like now that I'm done talking, I don't know what I even just said. So like I said before, please leave a comment if you want me to go into more detail about anything, or if you have any questions, I will gladly answer them. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye.